Okay, so now is time for a bit more Syren. So where we left off, we just finished level 1, which, you know, perhaps was a tutorial mission. And let's see what level 2 has in store for us. Now I'm going to admit, I think this level took me considerably longer than any other level in the game, of which I think there's about 5. It's also where I did my learning. It's where I became a student of the game and realised what it takes to succeed in Syren. You might notice there's no smooth turning on the control pad. The devs have been on a patching spree, so I wouldn't be surprised if minor things like this do get fixed or changed. But no matter what they do to the controls, this game is always going to be bad. So this is my first time through this environment. Obviously I've got no clue what's going on. I've just realised that there's a Syren that's come out of the vent that I didn't actually hear. And I'll just let you sort of take in this jank that's about to unfold. I swear she looks straight at me here. Also, I'm genuinely not sure if those are supposed to be flipper feet or those mobility legs that Oscar Pistorius has. So, one thing I think I'll keep coming back to is that whilst the level design is really, really bad, and you're going to see that, the actual attention to detail for sort of minor aspects of the environment is really not bad. They do seem to have tried to go above and beyond, giving you different bottles on the shelves, generally making the environment look at least somewhat lived in. It can be really hard to tell if you're actually being chased, because the mermaids sound so angry and so intent on killing all of the time. Also, don't expect any bottles or cups to break or smash when you throw them. The 3D sound in this game isn't really very good. Generally, you'll find out you've been caught by your movement just stopping and then having the mermaid teleport onto your face. I'll also take this moment to get this out of the way. Ma, 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 ma. Sorry. So, on my second pass, I decided, maybe I'll throw a cup and just walk through the door, and maybe we can see how that goes. Credit where credit due, that was a satisfying throw. This is me moving as fast as I can. I can't speak to whether or not I would go faster using the teleport function. And yeah, I've been bamboozled. I determined that the issue last time was obviously not enough cups, so I gave it another spin, this time trying to chain the aggro, as it were, from the Syren. Needless to say, it didn't work. I didn't really time it that well, in fairness. It was also then that I realised it was quite entertaining to spin around whilst I was getting chewed on. Next up, I decided I'd go have a proper gander at the terminal by the door, and unfortunately that was password protected, so I set about looking for a password. Unfortunately, this wasn't a very fruitful experience. If there is a password in the entire area, fair enough. I didn't see it. I looked pretty hard, and yeah, I didn't find it. On this life, though, I discovered that mermaids can't see through glass, but they have no problem seeing over the buffet. Next up, I tried to have a bit more of a thorough look at my environment, so I tried to read this note on the wall. To be honest, I expected this to be a really low resolution image that I wouldn't be able to read, so fair enough. It says that there's a leaky gas pipe that was fixed, and if you turn on the kitchen lights, and suggests that if you waggle it and turn on the kitchen lights, that it will cause an explosion. There's also a button. I don't know if you noticed that. There was a button right next to that. So I go into the kitchen, I play with the gas thing, And unfortunately, on this occasion, it went through the ceiling. So I don't know if the sparks are what happens when it's ready to go or not. But it went through the ceiling, so I was fucked on this playthrough as far as that was concerned. I shat on that review for its comments about the lack of sound effects. Now, in fairness, those metal buffet trays are one of the only things that just has no sound associated with them whatsoever. And I don't know why that is, because I'm sure that their intention was just to put that generic metal sound. But anyway, of all the gameplay gripes that I've had up to this stage, the fact that that one item doesn't make a sound when I throw it at something is really missing the mark as far as I'm concerned. I make my way back and I go to press the button that I believe to be the kitchen button. And also, in fairness, there's a big green pipe coming out the top of this contraption. It looks electrical, and that green pipe goes all the way to the kitchen where the problem is. So you're gonna tell me that's not the kitchen light? Okay, well let's go searching for a kitchen light. Yeah, it looks pretty connected to the kitchen light. Little thing, pretty sure that's not how lights work, but whatever. You know, lights have a power supply unit. That's fair enough. I haven't been in enough underwater labs to discredit that. And there's your proof about the buffet trays. Also, for some reason, the ones that aren't on the top have been glued to the table. People obviously kept stealing them. Then I died again, and as I span, I caught a glimpse of a light switch. Did you see it? I get back to the kitchen, and as you can see, there's no sparks, and then there are sparks, so I can only assume that the sparks mean this thing is good to go. Okay? I'll take that on good faith. I don't really understand the physics or the science behind this. The gas is coming out of the pipe, and it's sparking now, so if you turn the light on, it's going to explode. But I don't have any other explanation for how this puzzle is solved. And that didn't work. I fiddled with the gas pipe a bit more and went back to that because I just couldn't really see how that wasn't working. And then this happened. Reminds me of one of those prison visits. Sweetie, kiss me through the glass. As you'd expect, none of the lights in the actual kitchen do the job. And in fairness, that makes sense, because otherwise the puzzle would be exploding yourself. In this game world, buttons only work if they're big and red, or they have the word open on them. Now, I'm going to be honest, whilst I was editing my first part, I figured out the solution to this puzzle, and I didn't figure it out when I actually played the game. This could have been changed, I just didn't see it, we'll see. But apparently, what you're supposed to do is lure the Syren into the kitchen and then press this button like so. And then blammo! Nothing to chase you through the alarmed door, at the very least, because it's dead. I went back to this switch to see if there was something I could power up. What the fuck is Regnad? Okay. I have to put in a little editor's note here because whilst I was at work, on break obviously, I was watching a video by fellow YouTuber, Virtual Reality Oasis. So, annoyingly, I have to quickly eat shit on this one. The gas pipe is this thing. Also, he then goes and presses this button here and blammo! Interestingly, not in the same place as the early reveal footage, but the new placement is actually more user-friendly. I still think I would have solved it if when I walked into the kitchen, that electric thing didn't start fucking sparking. I just looked at it and I assumed, you know, that's the thing. That's the thing I need. And I thought the thing that the buffet trays was on looked like an oven. Moving on, I explored this area, which I hadn't previously had a look around in. Honestly, there was nothing there of interest. Had another good look around the desks. And then I devised my master plan. I was just going to try and brute force my way through that big loud door. Also, hang on. Look at that bit of the wall. I don't see the button, but fuck, I do see a lever. So you probably can pull that lever and put the power on. Not definitely, but probably. Anyways, I was ready to try my new plan. And it only fucking worked. Also, for some reason the doors stay open as soon as you go through them. Just another little thing that I noticed. I really hate how fucking lazy pretty much every level of design in this game is. So, we're having a look around the next area. I see a couple of doors on my left, but naturally I decide to go as far afield as possible and then come back on myself. And I find myself going to the ladies and gents toilets. The showers in this place come with a nice, kind of confusing view of the outside world. I don't really know what I'm seeing. Obviously it's underwater, but I mean, God knows, it's just a mess. I'd say this is another one of those moments where I was actually quite into the game. I could just tell something bad was going to happen. Unfortunately, the kind of bad events I had in mind weren't really what the game had planned for me. You're going to have to watch me fiddle aimlessly with buttons for a few moments, because I really want you to see my experience of this game. This is something that a highly edited review wouldn't have been able to get across. Yeah. So, I mentioned it before, but when you get caught by a mermaid, you get frozen. You can still interact with the world, but you can't do anything. There's no way for you to progress. I shut the door hoping that maybe she would lose aggro with me. No, that's not a thing. She was really intent on me. She just couldn't quite figure out the stairs. So, I could pause and restart the level. Or, I could try and feed my face. Feed my face to the mermaid. Yeah, that works. It's all better now. Despite dying in the bathroom, I decide to go back for another look. I'm not used to things that are out of the way being a dead end. In real life, absolutely, but in video games usually there's some kind of structure to the way a level is designed. I've never understood when one locker or one object is just a different colour from the others, and that means you can interact with it. I found something interesting in the toilet, and for anyone who was wondering whether or not this game was intentionally trying to be Alien Isolation, I think you can rest easy now. Not only do our monsters come tumbling out of the vents, but we have a scanner now too. We start to see blips from the mermaid that killed us before. And eventually, I've cut out about 30 seconds of waiting. She manages to walk down the hallway and become interested in our general vicinity. I'm assuming that's because of the occasional clanking of the tracker and the walls. Also, did you see that one blip that was just like right on top of me? They definitely missed a trick here, not letting you see over the top of the bathroom walls. And then, as before, this happens. So, if you want to avoid the mermaids, obviously they're not adapted for land, what you want to do is you want to either walk upstairs or stand on a toilet. I feed myself to the mermaid again. You like eating Daddy's face, don't you? Who's a good girl? Who's a good girl? You know, as funny as it was, restarting this level is not something I'm happy about. So, the bathrooms weren't doing shit for me, so it's time to try the two little doors. In the first one, we have a tiny dead-end room. We have a key pass on the desk. And in the second, we have a mermaid. And after waiting about half a minute for her to fuck off, we can investigate this new area. Now you might be thinking, oh, is it worth going around there and exploring that area? And the answer is no, because you don't keep anything when you go through the elevator. So when you see a little circle patrol path, that is entirely there for the mermaid to just walk around so that you can make a break for it. And that draws to a close level 2. There's no button in the elevator, because why would there be? And honestly, this is probably the best level in the game. The kitchen thing, you know, it didn't work for me, but it was a pretty cool idea. It was pretty out there, and it was pretty hard. Anyways, that's level 2 of maybe 5. But what you've seen so far is at least half of my overall playtime. So expect one more video where I take you through a tour de force of everything Syren has to offer. There'll be some thrills, some spills, and some mermaids. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. You're not going to want to miss this.